It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Now, Aaron Nesmith, understandable for him to have struggled early, a rookie who was hurt at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the year, coming into the draft. He had missed basically the entire calendar year, so he missed the end of his second college season. He had limited time. He shot a sniper, as he would call himself. He shot tremendously well, missed a lot of time, came in, struggled at first. You saw at the end, how much energy he played with. When we talk about the game slowing down for guys, think about how much energy he was playing with and how much slowing down actually helped him. The game slowing down actually helped him because that energy that he plays with, that was a little frantic, right? So that energy, we needed to refocus it, not bring it down, just refocus it, kind of channel it. It's like when you get one of those mag lights, when you're twisting the mag light and you twist it one way and it's like bright like this, and you twist it this way and you kind of refocus it, or like a hose when you twist it a little bit and it shoots that stream out. That's what we're looking at with Aaron Nesmith. At the beginning, it was just everywhere, but now it's a little more focused. Again, with a full off season, with a summer league, with homework from the team, and hopefully a directive from whichever new coach comes along, Nesmith will have his opportunity. He showed us he has the ability to defend. He has the ability to run out in transition. He can obviously shoot. The last 2 months, April and May, his true shooting percentage was up over 60, which is good. His usage rate was up over 15. So to have that true shooting percentage up over 60 with his usage up over 15, that's a good sign that as you bump up his usage, the efficiency can still be there. And we're looking now at both Romeo Langford and Aaron Nesmith as potential 3-and-D guys, maybe a little bit more. Now we're asking for improvement here, linear improvement, which is tough. You're not always going to get that. But I think that this past season was just so bad for them that the comfort level, the time to prepare, the full off season, if they stay healthy and do their work and all of that, then I feel like the improvement is going to be there. A strong level of improvement for the Celtics, for these guys. And what does that mean? If these guys can step up, if they can be true 3-and-D guys or maybe a little bit more, what do we have here? If one of them can ascend to being a starter, we've seen Romeo Langford start. Can you get Romeo Langford in there as a starter, as a defensive starter with the ability to hit threes? Or do you start Aaron Nesmith and have Romeo come off the bench? The reason I even suggest this, and I'm just saying if, I'm not saying yes, they will be. I'm saying if they can rise to the level of a starter. You have Tatum, who's your MVP level guy. You have Brown, who is your number 2 guy, can be a number 1 guy on some nights. You have, I'm assuming, Robert Williams. Now, he's an entirely different conversation, and if he can stay healthy, let's just assume for the sake of this conversation that Robert Williams has risen to Celtics starting center, and we're looking at, okay, those 3 are definites. Now, however Kemba Walker pans out, let's say you go Marcus Smart as your starting point guard. Let's just say Kemba's been traded and Marcus Smart's your starting point guard. Who's that next starter? If you've re-signed Evan Fournier, is Evan Fournier going to come off the bench for you? Can he anchor a bench unit and you start Nesmith or Romeo Langford? Okay, why? First of all, I like a guy in a starting unit like that can have a specific role, that isn't going to take too much of the usage away from these other guys. You know that Rob's going to get his lobs and do his thing. You know that Tatum and Brown obviously are going to do their thing. Marcus Smart's going to be able to drive. He's going to hit some shots, and he's going to hopefully not try to do too much. And if it's Nesmith or Langford in that starting unit, you not only have a guy who, in the wake of everything else, can catch and shoot, but if they rise to that level of starter level player, if that guy can now defend the best or second best wing, and Marcus Smart can defend the best or second best perimeter player, now you're not counting on Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown to also be guarding the best defensive players. And I think that's a huge difference for those guys, because if you can take some of that defensive load off of them, then they can be the passing lane kind of waiting as like free safety type of guys. We saw Jayson Tatum do that 2 seasons ago to perfection. Jaylen Brown can play. He actually this past season was pretty good in that role. Getting those guys a little bit off of the individual have to guard, a tough assignment every night. Let them focus more of their energy on the offense. Get out there into transition. Get the tip. Get out there. Lead the break. That can lead to easy baskets. If Nesmith or Langford can rise up to that level, you're taking pressure off of Tatum and Brown, and now they can do something else and save their energy for what they really, really do best, while still being tremendous team defenders. That can be, if you look at it, Marcus Smart, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams, and one of those two guys rising to the level of that level of defense, that guy can make this Celtics team one hell of a defensive team. Then, if you bring back Evan Fournier in this situation and you have the other guy on the bench, you now sub in Fournier for, let's say, Tatum. And I would say Brad Stevens normally did this. We'll see if the new coach does this, but just using last season's formula, Tatum gets the sub out at the 6-minute mark. Fournier comes in with the other guy, Langford or Nesmith, and you sit Tatum and one of those guys down. Boom. You have the possibility of getting one of those guys on the floor all the time. A young, switchable 3-and-D kind of guy on the floor at all times. That's a huge development. That would be a gigantic development. So you've got a guy who can hit shots. You've got a guy who can get out in transition. You've got a guy who can defend and just don't worry about how much he has to work. Just put him on there and dog the other team's best perimeter player or second best perimeter player. When you've got Marcus Smart, he can do, you split those duties. That can be really potentially in a best case scenario, really, really good. And that's why I say these guys could be so important. They could be the most important guys, because you take them off, or if they don't rise to that level, now you've got to figure something else out. Now you start Fournier and your bench gets weaker. Now you rely on Tatum or Brown to defend a tougher assignment, and they're going to be more tired. And so individually, these other guys are obviously more important, but if Nesmith and Langford can rise up to the level that I think is possible, and again, this offseason talk is always so pie in the sky. I understand that. Offseason talk is always best case scenarios, and we're all imagining and daydreaming and all this great stuff. But it's all about the ifs. And I don't think I'm asking too much, because Langford and Nesmith have shown the ability to defend already. Nesmith especially has shown the ability to shoot. Romeo definitely needs to prove that he can stay healthy and needs to make sure that shot is more consistent. But I'm not asking them to become something that they haven't already been to some degree. Just asking them to be a little bit better at those spots.